Hello, O'Brien here. Just going to make a video about my top 5 favorite physical NES games that I own in my small collection. I'm also going to talk about some other games too, quickly. I don't have many Nintendo published games in my top 5, so I will mention the ones that I own. I own a lot of the obvious ones by other legal means. Probably the Wii Shop is my source for that. But my other Nintendo published games that I have physically are Dragon Warrior with the manual. Okay. One of the first JRPGs here. And I got this recently. This is Excite Bike. I got it at a secondhand media store for a fair price. Pretty cool game. Not a top 5 game, but it's the only black box game I have. Published and developed by Nintendo. Dragon Warrior was not published, or it was not developed by Nintendo, but it was published by Nintendo. That basically means that Nintendo did the publicity and the commercial stuff to promote the game and maybe design the cover or something like that. But the development is more the programming, design, the game itself. And my other Nintendo game that I have that is published by Nintendo but developed by Rare is Anticipation, a silly board game that is on the NES, which is kind of a fun, silly game. And this is the last game that I'm going to show that's not in my top 5. This is a game that was not officially released. This is a reproduction cart of Final Fantasy II. I just have a liking for this game. It was not released in America, but I played it when it was released for the PS1, and I've always liked it, and it's a little different. It's more story driven and interesting in certain ways, but also frustrating too in other ways, but I've always had a liking to it. But the top 5 NES physical games that I have are as follows. I guess the first one I'll show in no particular order is the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. This is probably one of the first games I remember playing and really liking a lot. I just really liked the design of the game, and as I've gotten older, I've appreciated the game, and I certainly have not beaten the game either. It's a challenging game, and it's kind of like Zelda 2 in a way, so, and there's some strategy with switching between the turtles on the fly and saving the best guy for certain areas, so it's good for that and interesting, and for some reason I just like it more than the more beat 'em up style. This is more of an action adventure style, straightforward platformer with an overhead like Zelda 2, like I mentioned, and also side-scrolling levels. So I just kind of like that kind of style. And my next favorite game is Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. I guess I didn't get into this, I didn't like this one as a child, but I certainly have always kind of enjoyed the presentation of it, and I really like it now. It's a relaxing game. And it actually originally came with like an almanac or something like that to play with the game. So it's like an edutainment game, and it's kind of funny. You have to pick the right time era, and the right country based on clues that you do while you investigate the areas. And there's a lot of stills, and there's not a lot of animation, so it's a more static game. So I find I can get more into it, in the action. Even though I do like action games, there's just something about this game that is more relaxing and I guess more intellectual, or not necessarily intellectual, but more fact-based. And okay, it's more slow. It's not like just reflexes. So, and it's based on facts and kind of a mystery kind of way, so it's cool. And my next game is Maniac Mansion, which is a point-and-click game, actually by LucasArts originally, but this is a port to the Nintendo by developers Real-Time Associates and published by Jalico, a cool publisher for the Nintendo era. Had some charming games themselves. This is just a funny kind of a cool point-and-click game with a funny story with teenagers and their friends trying to save the main character's girlfriend from evil scientists in this mansion. So you definitely need a guide for this game, I'd say, but I tried to play without a guide for a while, and I still had a good time just because of the kind of the presentation and taking notes along the way. So it's kind of a fun game even without a guide, but I definitely think you probably need a guide, and there's multiple endings, and the dialogue is kind of funny, and there's kind of an attitude like your friends are either kind of geeky, scientisty, or they're in a band, or they're kind of surfer dudes, or they're really into writing. There's just an interesting different skill sets from the characters you can select, and you can select different characters for different scenarios to make different endings. And my last two are probably the most obvious games. These are from my childhood, naturally. This is the Mega Man game I had as a kid. Probably got it from a rummage sale, my folks did. Mega Man 3, definitely my favorite. Probably just because I had it originally, and there's just kind of an interesting depth to it, and I feel like I can beat it. It takes a lot of time to do it, but I can definitely usually get myself to do it. And sometimes I find myself trying Mega Man 2 or some of the other Mega Mans, and I just can't get all the way through. But Mega Man 3, I can do that. My last one is Rescue Rangers, Chippendale, or it's Chippendale Rescue Rangers, I said it backwards. This is another Capcom Classics platformer. Mystery team, helping the community, team of folks, but in the game it's mostly Chippendale, but it's a really good game. You can play it co-op, but it's probably even more hard co-op, but it's still kind of fun to do, just have a lot of fond memories. A game that can easily be beaten pretty easily, and just overall good presentation and music and that sort of thing. So those are my top 5 NES games physically, and some others in there. I have a lot of the other classics on the Wii Shop, from the Wii Shop. But thank you for watching. Have a great day.